What's up, Buttercup? I'm Pam Barnes, marketing expert,
And I'm Hannah Cox, business strategist,
and this is the Go Getter Gals podcast.
where everyday gals grow together and you'll find resources to help you grow personally and professionally.
What's up, Buttercups? You're at the Go Getter Gals podcast, and this is Pam and Miss Lovely Lady Hannah. I can't speak this morning, and I want to ask a serious question. No giggles, actually, as many giggles as you want. Who is exhausted?
Hey, that's my middle name.
Do you want to talk about the topic today, Hannah?
Yes, today we're going to talk about rest, the importance of rest, and the different types of rest that there are. So we've talked about rest before as like a side topic in another 1 or 2 or 5 of our episodes because it's so important. But I feel like it's important enough that it needed a dedicated episode to talk about. And I was really inspired to bring this topic up to Pam after editing and watching the interview that she did with Amy. So if you haven't watched that yet, it's already live by the time this one comes out. Definitely check it out. She briefly mentioned this topic and this research in that interview, and I fell down a rabbit hole. It's so great. I love it. And I feel like that's what this episode is going to be about. So thank you, Amy, for the inspiration.
She is fabulous. I absolutely loved interviewing her. I love interviewing all the go-getter gals. There's some of them, it's like, oh, this is so good. And honestly and truly, we all have skills, right? She's a storyteller, and she is such a fabulous storyteller. And she, again, struggles with exhaustion like we all do. A lot of entrepreneurs and business owners and stay-at-home moms. You are not out of this one either. Do you get 8 hours of sleep? Probably not.
Oh my gosh, we're struggling right now, like hardcore, with my 4-year-old waking up before 5 a.m. and then opening our bedroom door. And we have like a dim night light setting for our hallway. So the light's not on, but it's not off. It's like dimmed. And he opens our door and then he just stands there in our door like a serial killer until one of us wakes up in a fright. And it's like, so yeah, no, we're not sleeping very well in my house. I don't know about everybody else, but that's our current struggle.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yes. So again, we're all exhausted. So we're going to talk about the different rest. And there are several different types of rest. And I'm going to share some really interesting things about how to overcome some of the things in your life that you're going through by just resting, those little simple things that I didn't even realize were a thing, which is so crazy. But first, I think a lot of women believe that they need more sleep when they actually just need different types of rest, right? Like we just need a minute. I've heard so many women say this. We need a minute to breathe. I just need to breathe. I just need like 5 minutes. But then they say that every day, if not 2 or 3 times a day. So really, do you need 5 minutes? Or is there something in your life that you're neglecting?
Mm,
That's a
yeah.
big one.
And I think that's what we should start with, is talking about the different kinds of tired and why women specifically struggle with rest more than I think men do. Um, it doesn't have to be a girls against guys topic, but as with all of the topics on the Go Getter Gals podcast, we are focused on women, and women do show up in the world differently than men do. And that includes the guilt that we feel around resting and the blindness we have around what depletes us. So I think that, we started off asking the question, who's tired, who's exhausted, but what kind of exhaustion are you feeling? Like, is your body tired? Is your brain tired? Are you emotionally drained? Are you socially drained? Are you spiritually tired? All of these things show up in your life differently. And that's why, when when you're like, I just need 5 minutes, you're not really identifying what you need in those 5 minutes. You're just separating yourself from a situation because in that moment, you're feeling like the pinnacle of exhaustion, but you haven't identified what it is that's making you feel that way or what you need to like rejuvenate in your life. Um, why do women struggle with this? I don't know. Mom guilt, work guilt, you can't sit down because if you have time to lean, you have time to clean, like whatever those sayings are. I feel like there's just a constant pressure to be a productive woman. If you are an adult woman, especially if you have a relationship, and even more if you have children in that relationship, and if you have a shared burden of the financial responsibilities of the house, you got to work. You got to come home. The kids got to eat. Clothes got to be clean. Your house can't be dirty. You know, when there's so many things that you have to balance in your life, of course you're going to feel guilty if you even think about needing 5 minutes to sit alone by yourself and do nothing. But especially if you're doing it every day because those 5 minutes actually didn't do anything for you.
Very good point. Very good point. And I think one way we can easily come up with just simple answers before we go into the different types of sleep, um, is why women struggle with the rest is by asking your body. Like, you can ask your body, like, what is tired? Am my body tired? Am my brain tired? Like, where is it that I feel it?
Mm.
And then that helps you pinpoint why you are so tired. So it feels weird. Honestly, I am like really weirded out about it sometimes where I'm just like, I look at myself and I'm like, Pam, I look at myself in the mirror and I go, Pam, why are you tired? Or why are you avoiding this? You know what I mean? But like, I'll seriously ask myself. But I heard this recently in a podcast or YouTube or something. I don't know. But a woman was saying, ask your body where it's at. Because she was talking about like feelings. Where do you feel it most? Kind of
Mm.
situation. So that does help. It really, really does. And another thing I think that the reason why women are so tired and struggle with rest is hormones.
Mm.
Michael, go get her gal, Michael. She is fabulous, by the way. But she brought something to my attention that women were not even in medical studies until the 1990s because we're just so complicated because of our hormones and all of this stuff. We have not gotten decent medicine when it comes to stuff like that. And again, way back in the day, it was used as an excuse, right? And we just had to push through. And it wasn't, I mean, it was looked at as an inconvenience versus this is your body literally in fight or flight. Like, your body is losing these vital hormones that you need to be able to keep your gut up, your energy up, your brain fog down, like all of that stuff. So feeling guilty for sitting down, especially if you've had a baby, pregnant, been through a heck of a lot of stress because that puts a big toll on your hormones, going through perimenopause, in menopause, gal, sit the, I want to say a bad word, bleep down. No mom guilt, no work guilt. Like, you were dealing with so much more than the male population. And I love them to pieces. I've been married for 17 years, like, love them to pieces. But come on now. We have been dealing with hormones since before we started our periods.
Mhm. So there are 7 different types of rest according to this study, and I'm going to look at my phone really quick because I want to get her name right. Um, Defined by the researcher whose name is Dr. Sandra Dalton Smith. So if you were to Google this, the 7 different types of rest, you will see that pop up. Her research and this episode and the 7 different types of rest that we're going to talk about is inspired by that research. And so I'm just going to start going down the list and we're going to talk about it because, oh,
Well, hold on one second. Hold on one second. I want you to do that. But ladies, while she's going through this, I want you to think about which one of these you're neglecting.
yes. Yeah. And it could be multiple because I have a feeling that I'm going to go down this list and be like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Oh, I should probably be doing that. So definitely like keep a running tally. And if you're comfortable with it, put it in the comment section. Let's talk to each other about and see what are the most common types of rest that we're neglecting as women. And maybe we can brainstorm some solutions on how to help each other get out of those funks. So, the first type of rest is the most obvious one. It's the one that we think about when we think about being tired, and that's physical rest. So, the reason I even bring it up is not to be like, all right, physical rest, check. It's because when we think about physical rest, normally our heads go to, I want to take a nap. I need to sit down. I should probably get more hours of sleep. I should probably go to bed earlier, those kinds of things. But what physical rest also includes, because that's true, you should be getting sleep, and you should sit down if you're tired physically. But it also includes things like stretching, like doing some sort of physical exercise like yoga, maybe going and getting a massage, or just in general kind of taking time out of your week to have a slower day where you're not rushing everywhere like we always do when we're running a business, when we're managing a household and wrangling children. We're usually in this like almost always panic state of checking the clock and making sure we don't forget anything at the house and packing the bags and putting children where they need to be and all of that stuff. You just need to make sure that you sometimes have a day of the week where, it's a slow day. We're not doing any special activities. We're going to hang out at the house. We're going to put laundry off for a day and just kind of have a slow day. Um, all of those are really good examples of physical rest, all of which I struggle to do. I don't know about you, Pam.
Yeah. Whenever I was in the midst of my business and growing it, and I hadn't seen the financial benefit yet, I was just grinding and grinding. I had several beautiful friends say, you need to schedule a day off in your week. You work Monday through Monday. Like you need a day off you schedule. And I did that for maybe 1 week out of the month. And so, yes, you've got to. We've got to. We deserve it. We deserve it. When you sit down on the couch and you take a breather, that 5 minutes that you say that you need to say, I deserve this. And then let's talk about some of the signs in your body when it comes to physical rest.
Yeah.
Your body will tell you what you need. And a lot of times, especially with women, it tells you all kinds of things that you need because of all the stuff. And it's really good to narrow down. So, signs that you need rest: your body aches, constant fatigue, which again, raise your hand if you're always tired, right? Feeling run down. I hear a lot of women say this about just feeling burnout, run down. Um, so think about that. How many times have you physically rested your body so you're not so run down?
Yeah, and for those of you keeping track at home, if you're struggling to figure out, well, yeah, I don't do yoga or I haven't gotten a massage ever, then, yeah, that's one sign, but pay attention to those types of signs. If you were to sit down right now at home and say, yeah, my back hurts all the time, or I feel like I just could sleep forever. Those are the signs that you should write down on your list. Physical rest is something that I need to prioritize. And just as equal, the second type of rest is actually the second most thought of when we think about the types of rest that you need: physical and then mental rest. And some signs that you need some mental rest. would probably be like having racing thoughts. I used to think that that was just being a woman. I used to think that as a woman, as someone with a feminine brain, it is just the case that I would always be thinking about everything all the time. But and that is true to an extent. I think there have been studies done that show that people who have more feminine leaning brains, which I can't remember which one's which, but there's like white matter and gray matter, and biological men tend to have more of one type, and biological women tend to have more of the other type. And it just so happens that people who have that more feminine brain structure do overthink things. They are more emotional. That's just part of our biology. But when it crosses that line into, oh, I need to rest, is when you can't sleep, when you can't function because you have brain fog, when you are overthinking so much that it paralyzes your actions. You aren't able to do things. Or the idea of decision fatigue. It's a joke that women can't seem to like decide what's for dinner. Because the last time we did, we doomed humanity. Haha, I remember that joke.
Yeah.
but like I think that if you constantly find yourself where you're like, I need someone else to tell me what to eat because I can't make that decision, you need a mental break. And there are lots of examples of that. I don't know, Pam, if you want to talk about what are some things people could do to exercise a mental break for themselves.
Yeah, so giving brain breaks. I have also heard about journaling. I am so bad at this. Okay. One, I'm dyslexic as heck. Two, my writing sucks. Like I've scribbled all over the place. It's really hard for me to stay in between lines. Okay. It's just me. And, also, I'm really bad at consistency. Anybody else like really bad at consistency? Like I can do things for a little while and then I'm off on doing the next thing. It's really hard for me to do that. So journaling does not work for me. Okay. But I was interviewing a lady named Emma and she journals all the time. And it's the best thing for her. For me, it's quiet walks or quiet drives where I'm just by myself and I'm driving down back roads and I'm listening to music and I'm just taking a minute. Um, Putting your phone down. Like this is nearly impossible for me because I have a marketing agency and I'm literally on my phone all day. And so this one doesn't very much work for me. I have had times where I will do not disturb. I just started do not disturbing my phone when I met Hannah.
You're
I
welcome.
Yeah, I never did it before because I'm just running 90 miles a minute and I don't want to miss anything because if I miss a call, I miss a client. And but the quiet walks work for me. The brain breaks of just sitting outside and eating my food on the back porch alone, that does it for me.
Yeah. I think the quiet part is super notable. Because like I said, when your brain is always racing, you're always thinking about stuff. If you're able to put your phone down, and I say this to so many people, and I say it to myself, but honestly, truly, unless you are a first responder, there is literally no one who would need to get in touch with you that is a life or death situation that they couldn't wait to hear back from you 30 minutes from now. And I mean, there are obviously, if your child's in the hospital, if, like, of course, but day to day, a general sense, unless you are a first responder, no one is dying if they can't get a hold of you for 30 minutes. So put your phone down and just sit in the quiet. Go have a meal like Pam does on her back porch in the quiet, listening to the cicadas because it's summertime now. Listening to the cicadas sing and or going through a drive. That's my favorite thing to do is to drive alone. Even just like driving to Dothan on that stretch of highway that just is like it's 30 minutes straight, just straight through. and it's like 65 miles an hour. So I put on cruise control, I roll the windows down a little bit so I get some moving air, and then I put my radio so loud that anyone around me could hear what I'm listening to. And I love doing that, especially when it's dark outside. I just love that piece of like a bubble where the only thing I can hear is music. I can't hear my thoughts. I'm drowning that out with air and music. And that's a break. That's a break. Journaling, I think is fun. I enjoy to journal, but I don't do it consistently. And I've actually gotten in the habit of journaling, so to speak, because there's so many different. I could have a whole episode on how to journal. There's so many different ways that you could journal. But my favorite way is to like dump everything out of my head. And so instead of being like, dear journal, this is how I was feeling today, blah, 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 this is what happened today, I instead will just be like, here's all the things I completed. Here's all the things that are outstanding. Here's what I'm worried about right now. Here's what I'm really proud of right now. So yeah, I recommend everyone find some version of journaling to dump out their thoughts or to drown out the thoughts with quiet or music, like what you were talking about.
That's really good. I'm glad you shared so many examples. And again, this is all about growth through connection and helping you learn different coping mechanisms of just being a woman in society today because it's hard. Okay. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. There's so many amazing things. I mean, I love being a woman. I love it. Like, if I could choose between being a guy and a gal, I would be a gal every time. But it is hard. I'm not going to ignore that fact. But let's talk about the next one. The next one has hit me like a freight train. I'm not even going to lie. I'm going to run with this one because I learned so much and I'm going to share it with you. Is sensory rest. As I said before, I'm go, 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 go. I don't put my phone down. And I'm always got something going on because I don't like quiet. Very, very rarely. I will go outside and I will be outside, but my dog's usually running around. Or I'll listen to something while I'm eating. Like sensory, here's something for people that have PTSD, have anxiety, and have like medical conditions. I have a medical condition called POTS. This is something to really think about because I have learned something that's super, super beneficial. But here's the signs first. We're going to go through the signs. Overstimulation, irritability, headaches, feeling tired. So I'm always feeling tired. I don't have the headaches, but overstimulated. Again, I always thought that was the ADD, ADHD that I have, where I just get overwhelmed and I like I just either run like an Energizer bunny or I like word vomit. And irritability is a big one too. But what I have learned, because again, I suffer with PTSD from ex-military stuff. Also my body, because of everything that it's been through with the health issues that I've had, I've gotten pretty sick. I want to say 4 times in my life. I thought I was going to die 3 times. So when it comes to the PTSD stuff and the anxiety, it's real. I have ignored it for years, but the sensory thing, there is something called sensory overload. When you go driving, when you play video games, when you walk into like big places like Walmart, if your body is already in sensory overload, it can throw you into a panic attack, even if, and this is the part that threw me off, you don't feel anxious at all. Not worried at all. I thought it was a POTS episode because with POTS, I'll just give you a little simple education here. With POTS, you elevated heart rate. And when you sit up, stand up, your blood pressure drops and you could pass out. Okay. So my body does this, and it's done this for years since I had my daughter. Again, this is hormones, right? So hormones affect all of this too. And my hormones dropped after my daughter and I got fixed. Big mistake for me and my body. because it dropped all the hormones and it caused all this stuff. But the sensory overload, if you randomly feel tension in your neck, and then, like for me, when I'm driving, if my hands are here on the steering wheel, I'll start breathing heavy. And again, I thought it was just a POTS episode, not that big of a deal, until I started doing research and actually looking into it. And because I don't give myself a break in my sensories, and I'm always going and going and going and going, that I noticed that when I start driving, I'll go into a panic episode after like 15 minutes.
Hmm.
And I don't feel panic. So I don't even realize it's a panic episode. I didn't figure this out until I actually started doing the practices that they tell you to do to tell your body you're safe. Because with sensory overload, it goes into fight or flight and is trying to protect you. So what you do is you relax your neck, you lower your shoulders, you stretch out your neck. And when I did that, instantly my breathing regulated. Instantly my heart rate went normal. Like instantly. It was crazy. Within less than a second, I'm like, okay.
That is very interesting. I
Isn't
feel like
it?
would you say that when it comes to sensory rest, because is this something that you would just do as practice, or do you feel like there are other things you should be doing to help prevent it from happening?
So again, physical rest is a big one. So your physical rest, if your neck is a huge contributor, like your C1, C2, C3. So people that have POTS, people that have constant anxiety, people that have brain fog, a lot of their C1, C2, C3s are compressed or misaligned.
Mm.
And again, I've heard this mumbo jumbo for years. Okay. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I go to the chiropractor. It's fine. It's my POTS. It's my POTS. It's my POTS. Like, I know what it is. It wasn't until I actually started stretching physical. So the physical rest, the stretching, that's what I do in the car. I literally stretch and it works miracles. And then the sensory rest. So I will literally plug my ears or put headphones in and I'll close my eyes for about 10, 15 minutes and I'll feel much better. Another thing too is if you go through this to get out of those situations, but not in the sensory rest, not in a panic sensory rest. So like, for instance, if you're at Walmart and you're starting to feel it, like your neck's getting tight and there's a lot going on, just take deep breaths, stop walking
Hmm.
and tap, right? The tapping. Again, this mumbo jumbo stuff drove me insane. And I'm like, no, like tapping, that doesn't work. It actually does work. If you're in a movie theater and it's really loud in the movie theater, anybody have anxiety when it's really, really loud noises? I do. I can't do fireworks. It throws my body into fight or flight. But the tapping in the movie theater when it's really loud, it tells my body I'm fine. Because I'm not panicked at all. It's my body panicking. It's the sensory panicking. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's flipping amazing. I don't feel crazy anymore. Hey gals, if you love what you're hearing and you want to get more involved, because trust me, I love Go Getter Gals. I'm obsessed with it. If you love this podcast as much as we do, all you have to do is go on our Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, and we're under Go-Getter Gals. We are going to have all of our episodes on the podcast link on our website at go-gettergals.com. Thank you for allowing me to interrupt for just a second. We look forward to continuing to help you grow. Without further ado, here's the Go Getter Gals podcast.
Isn't that so funny too, that like there was ever even a doubt in your mind that you were going crazy? And that's why I, brought up at the beginning of this episode that this is for women. We're talking specifically about how these rests affect women, because even though it affects everyone, and I am sure there are plenty of people out there who are men who struggle with anxiety and sensory overload, and they're physically tired, they're mentally tired, of course. But I think that, like you said, the medical field is just now starting to catch up with focusing on how our bodies are different. And because of that, we sometimes just feel like we're going crazy. And that's ridiculous because we're not going crazy. We just need to support our bodies in the way that it's begging us to support it. And so if that means putting your phone down, sitting in silence, dimming the lights, going outdoors and breathing fresh air, taking a nap, journaling, or I don't know, just whatever, get a massage, do some yoga, whatever you have to do to help your body get what it needs so that you can be the best version of yourself. These are the things that you just have to prioritize. They have to be a priority. And so if you're keeping track, that's 3 for 3 for me. I don't know about anybody else, but so far I'm 3 for 3. I am physically exhausted and I'm not prioritizing that. I am mentally exhausted, but I am trying to prioritize that more. And sensory overload, I'm irritable. I do something small could just like completely switch me off. It's like a joke. It's like an inside joke. It's like, "Oh, well, how quickly can I go from having fun to being overstimulated?" Like 30 seconds or less. So like, but I want to go ahead and also let's like talk about these other types of rest because some of them were really surprising to me, like creative rest. I had never heard of that. That's number 4. And what it really means is it's allowing yourself to experience beauty and inspiration and wonder and awe. And I think that when I was reading about this, it really caught my attention because my day to day is really mundane. There's not a lot of beauty and awe in the surface level of my days. It's get up, pack lunches, take kids to daycare, come home, jump on my computer, start working, remember to eat lunch, get back to work. So being able to say, I need inspiration. I feel like my life is mundane and it's getting away from me. When was the last time I took a vacation? I had a friend of mine literally ask me this question. She was like, Hannah, when was the last time you had a week-long vacation where you weren't doing any work? And I thought about it and I was like, oh, since June of 2021, that was the last time I took a week-long vacation. And uh, so these are the kind of things. That's why vacations are important. That's why finding beauty in the little things are important. Obviously, I said my day to day isn't like there's not a lot of beauty in the surface level of my day to day, but if I were to dive a little bit deeper, obviously there's beauty and wonder and awe in my young children's behaviors and what they talk about. And when I slow down and I'm present with them, I see that. But some other examples of things that you could inject into your life to experience this type of creative rest would be to have a cup of tea on your back porch and watch the sunset. Do some gardening, art. Go look at art, go create art, listen to music, go out and be one with nature. Like these are all things that are really, really available and easy to inject in your life if you just like take the conscious effort to say, I'm going to go outside and, drink a glass of sweet tea on the porch while the sun sets, or, have my coffee out in the morning when the sun rises, stuff like that. I think that those are very achievable and super important when it comes to having a well rested and well rounded life.
Yes. And I want to talk on the gardening for a minute. I really do believe in grounding, taking your shoes off. Like I've gardened for years with my dad and my mom, and we did very large gardens, very, very large gardens. And we had community gardens. We had people come and help with the community garden, and then they would just get fresh fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. But there is a lot to be said about grounding. Just getting in there, burying your feet in the dirt, and just breathing and digging your hands in the dirt. It actually does help you. It very much does. Um, I've noticed a huge difference in my body when I garden and when I don't garden. So,
Mhm.
which garden is stressful in a way, so you got to be careful. But but doing a smaller garden, just a few little plants. I would say probably two per, and do about 3 to 5, and then that's it. Don't go
Mhm.
crazy. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh, it
and
helps.
beware millennial women. I have noticed that our midlife crisis seems to be homesteading.
Yeah.
So, gardening is a gateway drug. Before you know it, you'll have chickens and all sorts of stuff going on. So, so beware.
For sure, for sure. The next one is emotional stress.
Mm,
I'm just gonna check that one on the list because I'm always finding a way to increase my emotional stress. I don't know why. I've just kinda always been that way. Um, but signals is the people pleasing.
mm,
Uh-huh. Yeah, I was raised by a very good people pleaser, and she's remarkable. I love my mom to pieces, but definitely a huge people pleaser. Um, hiding feelings. This one's big, and I'm gonna sit on this one for just a second because emotions have energy. Okay, I know I'm getting in the stuff, but I'm telling you, since I've been doing all of this stuff and learning all of this stuff, I'm understanding when you're really angry and you don't talk about it and you just shove it down because you don't want to be a burden or you don't want to upset anybody. Because again, people pleasing, an angry person and a people pleaser together, that's just like a whole, that's a bomb ready to blow off because you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but you don't want to, you hate what this is doing to you. You hate how somebody's treating you or whatever. So, hiding feelings is a big one. Um, saying I'm fine constantly. This is like the woman definition. I'm sorry and I'm fine. Stop apologizing for holding space and stop saying you're fine. You're obviously not fine if you're saying I'm fine 5 minutes in one sentence or 5 times in one sentence. Sorry. Um, but the fact of the matter is it's okay not to be fine.
yeah.
We're not perfect, for one. We've already talked about that. And two, we have a lot of emotions and a lot of hormones and all that. And we think a lot, we overthink, and we do a lot. So it's normal to not be fine every single day of every single minute of every single day. Emotional exhaustion as well, where I hear this a lot from women. Like I'm a crier, and that's one of the ways that I get my emotions out. But sometimes I'll be so emotionally exhausted because, again, my husband moved recently and we're not going to see him for 4 months. And I've been married for 17 years and he is my rock. I had a couple days of emotional exhaustion, of just anxiety and fear and doubt and sadness that I literally shut down because I was just so emotionally exhausted, and I slept, a lot more than normal because my body was just flipping exhausted. So, take that time to breathe, take your 5 minutes, sit the bleep down. I wanna say bad words so bad that Navy in me just wants to come out. Um, and give yourself that emotional break that you need. And it doesn't make you an emotional person. We're all emotional people. It's not
Yeah,
even
well, women are that's our superpower. Like, I don't like to think of it as a negative thing. Women are more emotional, and I think that's what makes us so strong and what gives it's our superpower for us. But I think something I really want to, like, drive home is how do you actually encourage emotional rest? And I personally feel like this one's probably the hardest one on the list because you have to have I mean, you have to imagine, like, why does it feel like a burden every time you, do something to please someone else in detriment to your own self, that's something you've just placed on your shoulders. It's a burden. Every time that you feel something that you don't express, and I mean that on the entire spectrum. If you're really happy because you achieved something amazing and you hide that feeling to keep from making someone else feel less than, that's just as bad as you got really upset about something and you've decided not to say anything so that you could spare the feelings of a relationship. Hiding your feelings to spare other people, that's a burden on your shoulders. Every time you do that, you're adding weight to your back. And the only way to take that off is to speak it into existence. And that is so difficult. And sometimes this requires a therapist, a professional. But what it really needs is a safe place to sit. And safe space, that term, take it or leave it. No matter how you feel about it. The sentiment is the only way to relieve the pressure and remove the burden of the emotional stress that you've put on yourself is to let it out. All of the emotional stress boils down to keeping something inside of yourself. The only way to relieve it is to let it out. And the healthy way to relieve it is to talk it out. And so having a spouse where you can say, okay, once a month, we're going to sit down and we're going to do a check in with each other. And I'm going to tell you about all the times that you upset me and why it upset me. And I need you to be able to take that. And I'm going to take everything that you say I've done to upset you. And I'm not going to be angry about it. I just really wanted to hammer it home that the only way to experience emotional rest is to speak it. There's just no other way. And that's super hard for some people. I feel like I'm a really good communicator. I'm not afraid of conflict. I feel like I'm able to deliver news in a really kind way and have hard conversations in a really kind way because I've done it so much that I've just become really good at it. But I know that it was hard for me at one point, and it's hard for a lot of people. But if you want to relieve the emotional stress of life that a lot of women carry, that's the only way to do it.
Right. And to segue into the next one, you were talking about safe space. I have a weird thing about that word too. We can get into that another day, but social rest is the next one.
Mm.
And a lot of that ties into not having a space where you feel like you're connected with other women. This looks like feeling lonely when you've got a room full of people around you.
Mm.
Um, and not having that space where you can show up as yourself and you can be the person that's inside here, be your true and authentic self and not apologize for it. A lot of that ties into the social rest and not being able to be socially rested. Um,
Yeah, don't confuse yourself for an introvert. You
yes,
might not be an introverted person, but also feel really drained.
yes. That plays into rest plays into a lot of who you hang out with. And if they drain you, because women, we tend to, it's hard to make friends. We had a podcast about this, a podcast episode about this, Hannah. It's hard to make friends as an adult. And it's hard for change. Nobody really likes change. Change is hard. And letting go of friends that you've been friends with forever when you don't have any other friends, I mean, that's hard. So a lot of times I see women, including myself, before I did, before I decided to actually put myself first and stop people pleasing as much. I still people please, but not as much as I used to. It used to be at sacrifice for myself always. Um, we find ourselves in rooms that do not fuel us, that drain us constantly. And we don't have that time to restore our energy. We don't have people pouring into us. And
Right.
that is one of the biggest reasons why Go Getter Gals is so important to me, because we live the world that the world around us defined us as, and we don't see ourselves in that definition. And all of this stuff that we talked about, the lack of rest of everything, is because we're trying to fill gaps and sacrifice ourselves and sacrifice ourselves. And that might be the best, drain ourselves and drain ourselves. That's the better ways of saying that, because we're, again, fitting into boxes that we don't fit in. So with the social rest, I want you to ask yourself these questions. Who energizes you in your world? And who exhausts you in your world? And if
Mhm.
you have more people that exhaust you than energize you, then you're most likely socially exhausted.
Right. And also, like, identify exhaustion, because you can have a friend who is very energetic, who is always on, who is very outgoing, and they don't exhaust you. I think for me, the moments that I realize that I am feeling exhausted the most are when I realize that I have been performative in a friendship, where I only show up for that friend in a specific way because that's how they want me to show up. So I perform for them, I put on a mask for them, and when you have to perform for hours at a time, of course you're gonna come home and feel exhausted. So, you know, to piggyback on, who energizes you and who exhausts you, who can you be yourself around?
Mhm.
Who are you performing for? And what energizes you and what exhausts you? And I
Yeah.
think that that goes into definitely go listen to our friendship podcast. We talk a lot about that, specifically to adult women friendships. But social rest doesn't mean that you stop going to social events. It means that you show up where you are energized.
Mhm. Yes, and for people that are helpers, I'm a helper. And what exhausts me is actually my strength and what fuels me. Like, I love helping people, like, love it with a passion. But I tend to have people, a lot of people come to me for advice, and I love that. I absolutely love it. But sometimes I forget to ask for help in return with other
Hmm.
people or the same people, because I have friends that I give help and then they give me help. But sometimes I'll find myself socially giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, that I forget to fill my own cup up. And I'm taxing myself to the point where then I'm socially exhausted and I pull away and I take a break. When in all reality, it's because I didn't say, oh my gosh, I need help with X, Y, and Z. And I start asking for help instead of just being the helper.
Yeah, 100%. Do you want to talk about that the last type of rest that women should be prioritizing?
Spiritual rest.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just mean religion. Like, it doesn't have to mean religion. Energy, right? Like spiritual beings. It's about purpose. It's about belonging. It's about connection. It's about meaning. It's about feeling part of something bigger than yourself.
Hmm.
The aha moment kind of situation. So, yes, for my religious friends, they go to church every Sunday, and and I'm religious too. Don't get me wrong, but I've got all kinds of groups of friends. I've got others that literally lean against a tree and they talk to Mother Earth. And it helps them, right? And then for me, the spiritual rest that I need most of all is stop running for purpose and
Mhm.
actually just take a minute and be in the moment. I am not an in the moment kind of person. I'm always like 10 steps ahead. That's why when my husband left, I got like super depressed because I was already through 4 months ahead. My husband's like, I just left like yesterday. I'm like, I know, but I'm 4 months ahead living that grief kind of situation. So purpose and belonging and connecting, chasing meaning, chasing one of my favorite phrases that Les Brown says, is follow the heart sorry, I'm messing that up. Follow the song your heart sings. Very, 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 very important to me. And it inspired me so much because I've always had big feelings here and big purpose driven. But you need to give yourself spiritual rest. Examples would be prayer, faith, volunteering, community, time in nature, gratitude.
Oh my gosh, gratitude is such a big one. We've
Mm-hmm.
talked about celebrating wins, and that's more of like a outward thing. Gratitude is so intimate. It's literally just you taking a moment to say, what do I appreciate? What am I thankful for? What am I thankful for about me and who I am? What am I thankful for that I have in my life? What am I thankful for that I'm not experiencing?
Right.
Being able to like really identify that type of gratitude, when you say things that are negative out in the world, you're a self-fulfilling prophecy, but that works both ways. When you say things that are positive into the world, you are a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
So be grateful, make it extremely intimate, sit with yourself and just be like, I am so grateful that I have ambition. I am so grateful for my beautiful family. I am so grateful that I don't live in poverty. Those things of that trifecta of who I am, what I have, and what I don't have to experience, and why I'm grateful for these things, is just so powerful. And I think that's wonderful. I feel like a good way to end this is to talk about, in that study that was done, they did find that women specifically tend to focus on physical rest the most, when the rest that they're neglecting the most tends to be the emotional, the mental, the sensory, and the social rest. We're really performative creatures. We like to show up as our best selves, even if that's not our true selves. And this is actually, according to the study, especially common because women often carry the emotional labor, the caregiving responsibilities. They have people-pleasing habits more than men do. They have a constant mental load that they're carrying. And the framework that is in the study suggests that many people feel exhausted despite getting 8 hours plus sleep, just because they're missing all of these other forms of restoration that they could be. So you might need more sleep. You may need more honesty, more boundaries, more quiet time, more support. Those are probably what you really need. Yeah, you probably need more sleep too, though.
Yeah, let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Again, sit the bleep down and don't apologize for it.
Right. All right. So self-check, everybody. We're at the end of the podcast. Of those 7 types of rest, which ones are you missing? If I'm being honest, at least 6 of those. At least 6 of those I am missing. I need to really focus on resting more.
I really liked reading the spiritual one because I feel like I'm actually not neglecting in that,
Yeah.
which is kind of interesting because I have been resting a lot more lately and I've been praying a lot more. I've been sitting with nature a lot more and I've been practicing the gratitude a whole lot more than I used to because there is so much to be grateful for sure. Um, but yes, ask yourself those questions. Write them down in the comments. Find your tribe. Find the people that connect with you on those things. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Hey, gals. Thank you for listening to the Go Getter Gal podcast. All of the information for this episode can be found in the show notes. Make sure that you go and like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram, as well as subscribe to us on YouTube. And to find the latest episodes of the Go Getter Gal podcast, you can visit our website at go-gettergals.com. See you next time.